Hey guys, great to see you again. Today we will discuss why the Canon RF version of the popular 24-105 f4 lens is one of the best all-around lenses for photography Canon has made so far, so stay tuned. RF version of the popular 24-105 focal range is for me personally the lens I can take with me everywhere. It covers ranges from a considerably wide field of view to the medium telephoto focal range. It's suitable for landscapes, travel, family shooting, portraits. In this review we will discuss the zoom range, versatility, sharpness, bokeh and new controls from the photography standpoint. Review from the videomaker's point of view is coming soon, so make sure you are subscribed to not miss that one. This video is divided into chapters, so you can jump right at what interests you the most. Also don't forget to check the description down below for recent deals on this lens at Amazon. Let's start with dimensions. Considering this is a full-frame zoom lens, the weight is acceptable at just about 70 grams or 1.5 pounds. When you compare it to the mirrorless full-frame competition from the Nikon and Sony, the only true competitor is the Sony 24-105 f4, since Nikon has only the 24-70 f4 option, which doesn't have that versatile focal range. However, the Nikon version is the smallest and lightest out of three. From the size and weight point of view, I'm able to pack this Canon RF 24-105mm lens paired with the Canon EOS R into my small camera bag. I use this bag for APS-C camera bodies like Sony a6500 or Fuji X-T2, and this full frame set fits in here as well. That's just amazing. It's so important for me just because I'm a big fan of travel and hiking. I was looking for a camera system that has great ergonomics and user-friendly interface and a huge ecosystem of lenses, lighting equipment and other accessories, and is also full frame. Then the Canon EOS mirrorless lineup was introduced and this checked all the boxes for me. Now back to the lens itself. 24-105mm zoom covers the most of the favorite focal lengths like 24mm, 35, 50, 70, 85 and 100mm. The closest focus at all focal lengths is 45 cm or about 18 inches, which makes this lens also capable of producing some interesting close-up shots. It has 1.4 magnification ratio, what means that the object you shoot at the minimal focus distance projects at the image sensor 4 times smaller than real life. The lens is very sharp at f4 and reaches superb sharpness at f5.6. I use mine with Canon EOS R, which has 30 megapixel sensor and even in 2021 is a perfectly fine combo for large prints. This is the lens you take with you on a trip or vacation when you have to pick just one piece of glass. Sure, if you have unlimited baggage you can take as many lenses as you wish, but when you need to pick just one, this could be the lens. When it comes to shooting portraits, this lens can handle it for sure more than good. Remember that sometimes you need that depth of field, and even when you shoot with 85mm f1.2L lens, you need to stub it down to, let's say, f5.6, which makes this glass perfectly suitable for this type of photography. Just add some lighting equipment and you have top quality portraits. No one will be questioning whether that portrait was shot with a kit lens. For you landscape photographers, this lens will provide also great service. It's not something like 16-35mm, so you won't get that wide field of view. However, this 24-105 provides 57% of the focal length provided by the 16-35mm. So it's still quite versatile and highly usable for landscape photography. With this lens you have the advantage of shooting objects far away from you, so you get a bit of that telephoto compression look. This lens has also another great feature, starting with the most important one, and that is Image stabilizer. Canon RF 24-105L features an image stabilizer function. Canon says it's capable of 5 steps of image stabilization. From my own experience, I can really feel the effect of the stabilizer on still images. However, I would say the 5 steps would only be possible if you have tripod-like hands. For still objects, I was able to shoot 3 steps slower than the inverse value of the focal length. What's new with this lens is the control ring in front of the lens barrel. You can assign some predefined functions to this ring. I know some photographers leave this disabled, but I really like the response and the fast access to this dial. Mine is set to ISO, so I'm able to change ISO on the fly without fiddling with the FN button and adjusting the ISO there. The autofocus is so fast, you could even shoot sports with this lens. Also, tracking is very accurate. Canon EOS R is not the fastest camera in terms of continual shooting, but you get almost all images from the burst tech sharp, and that is what I really like about this camera. With focusing located directly on the camera sensor, the autofocus is always accurate. Terms like front or back focus literally don't exist here. When it comes to bokeh, this lens is no bokeh monster. f4 is not ideal for shallow depth of field, and you probably don't buy this lens for shallow depth of field photography like the legendary Canon 85 1.2L. However, it can produce some decent background blur throughout its focal range. You just need to shoot from a closer distance to blur that background a bit. f4 in a full-frame world is equivalent to f2.5 in APS-C terms of bokeh. This means this lens has the same background blur at f4 as the comparable APS-C lens at f2.5. If you are a professional photographer, you may say that the RF 24-70 f2.8 is a way better option from the light transmission point of view. And with better light transmission comes also a better bokeh or at least more background blur. This might be true, but you need to consider the weight and size ratio and focal range. Compared to RF 24-70, the 24-105 is smaller and lighter. It's almost 2 cm and 200 grams lighter, which is the weight of your iPhone 11 for example. Not speaking about the price difference. Sure, for professional event shooting, the 24-70 f2.8 makes much more sense, however for travel is the 24-105 clear winner considering its weight and features. So taking all of these facts into account, this lens is so good just because of its versatility. 90% of my travel photos were shot with this lens. So to wrap it up, I highly recommend this lens to anyone looking for a versatile all-around lens to take with you outside. You don't need to worry about which focal length you will need on your trip, because you will be covered. And that's it for today's video. If you liked it, hit that like button right now and consider subscribing to see more videos to help you make better decisions in the future. Thanks for watching, see you next time.